Welcome back to the preview show. Technical issues means it's just Ronnie Whelan alongside me. It's the toughest test in football for Liverpool on Sunday. Manchester City are coming to town. Ronnie, Pep Guardiola's responded to the disappointment of last season. They look very, very good right now.
Yeah, disappointment of last season, but also the start of this season because they were very, very poor at the start of the season. But they've turned it round completely. They do not look like conceding. They don't look like losing the game. The football is what we expect of Guardiola's teams, the passing, the movement. De Bruyne, when being out injured, everybody thought it would be great, but there's other players have now stepped up. Gundogan has been magnificent since De Bruyne has been out. He's took over the mantle of scoring goals and creating. It's going to be one of, well, it usually is the hardest game of the season, and this won't be any different.
And just put into context for us the contrasting form then between these two sides. This is the last 9 games for both Liverpool and City. City have won all 9 and just conceded the 1 goal.
Yeah, but if you go back to the start of the season and switch that round, you will find that Liverpool were playing much better than Man City at the start of the season. Man City didn't pick up many points at all, but they have gone on a run. So you start to think, well, Liverpool are capable of doing the same sort of thing if they can just get their act together. A terrible start for City, but they have the players. I'm going through the teams the other day and go through benches and things like that. We probably had against Brighton 2 or 3 players could have come on and changed the game. Origi, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Curtis Jones. They could have done something to come on and change something. You looked at Man City's bench and they had so many players on their bench that could have come on against Burnley. They had like 8 players that you think could change something if they came on. That is the luxury we are missing at the moment. That is probably the reason, or nearly 100% is the reason, why we're not doing as well as we should be.
Well, Ronnie, we've talked about City going forward, but their defensive record is equally impressive. Key to that has been Ruben Diaz. Like the look of him?
But Diaz has been the one who's stepped up, really, really stepped up and said this is. He seems to be able to control it from the back. He looks so cool. Defensively, City are much better now than they were.
Yeah, this is his record over 19 games compared to the 19 before he signed. Conceded 10 fewer. Which has probably meant that losses have been turned into draws as well.
Yeah, it is. When there's a player like that comes in and you read the stats and you just see how much he has done to take everything up a level of playing, but defending better and getting less goals against, and you realise how good a player that he is and how much of an influence he is now.
John Stones also looked like a new player over the last few weeks, Ronnie.
Amazing, isn't it? It looked like he was out, it was gone, his career was finished. Now Pep has come out and give him a lot of praise of late. He's cut out a lot of the silly mistakes he was making. But this is also when other players come in, he's looking at what they do and how they go about it. And he's learned and he's done very, very well to come back from where he was at when he was about to leave Man City.
What about the loss of Kevin De Bruyne then, Ronnie? It looked like it was going to be, a real disaster for them, but it hasn't really affected them.
I know. And when De Bruyne got injured, I was one of those Liverpool fans who went, yes, great, he won't be playing at Anfield. But I don't think they've lost a game since he's gone out, which says a lot for the squad he's got there. De Bruyne is the best player they've got by a mile. And when he's not in the team, or when he wasn't in the team, we all expected that they would drop so much. But since he's got injured, they've played very, very well without him. A few of the players, like Gundogan that I mentioned earlier, who looks to be cruising through games at the moment. A lot of players have stepped up in his absence and made City a better player or getting better results since he went out.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Gundogan, 7 goals in the last 10 games, so he has stepped up, hasn't he?
It was never really his game, was it, scoring that many goals? But I've watched him lately because I wanted to watch him just to see what he's done. And he just seems to be cruising through games, Gundogan, getting himself forward, defending, passing around corners. That people don't see the passes he makes. Even on television, we're looking at a full screen with players all around. We don't see, a bit like Thiago, we don't see the angles and the players that they see when they've got the ball at their feet. And Thiago and Gundogan are able to just change up the pace of things, slow it down, quicken it up again. But But Gundogan with his goals as well has really, really stepped up to the mark after.
Certainly do. Okay, Ronnie, thank you. Time for one final break, after which Ronnie will try and predict the starting 11, so stay with us. Welcome back to LFC TV viewers, and welcome along to fans on our Facebook channel. We're looking ahead to Sunday's Anfield meeting between Liverpool and Manchester City. Ronnie, we've discussed the strengths of Manchester City, but what about Liverpool? What do Liverpool have that City will be worried about?
Well, we have a front three that would frighten anybody when they're on form. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, they are not all flying. You're hoping Mane is fit coming into the game. You're hoping to get stronger at the back if Fabinho's fit. But we have, and we've shown it time and time again, enough on the pitch to scare anybody. But you're just hoping that they're all going to be fit and well, and then we can go and cause City problems.
Well, history is also on Liverpool's side. Ronnie, City haven't won at Anfield in any of their last 19 visits. How much do you like to read into that?
It was okay reading into it when I was playing against them and winning all the time, but now I don't know. It's no coincidence that you see a lot of the games at Anfield that Liverpool have not been winning because there's no crowd there. A lot of these players thrive on the atmosphere against the likes of Brighton and teams like this. West Brom's, the crowd, and sometimes the crowd frightens those players if they're low in the leagues. These players sometimes do get scared of the atmosphere. I'm not saying City players would get scared of the atmosphere, but I think Liverpool players thrive on it, and unfortunately it hasn't been there. They'll have to go through it again this weekend. But we do have the players. If the players are all fit, we've got them. We've got enough. We've got 11 that we can put out on that pitch. That would cause Manchester City problems all over the park, not just the front three.
Well, Ronnie, you mentioned the fans, and when you think back to that game, the noise and the atmosphere that was created was remarkable, wasn't it?
It's good to watch, wasn't it? Everyone looked on top of their game. Salah, Mane, Trent, they all looked to be flying. Henderson. How different it is now, as we say, with no crowd, the team on a bit of a lull. It'd be great to get back to a full crowd again, especially against the likes of Man City when the atmosphere is absolutely bouncing. Hopefully that'll come very, very soon. But Liverpool have a job on their hand to go and win it again, win this game again, to get closer again, or to get close to Man City. We don't want them running away with the league. We need to get closer to them. We do need to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Trent. Both fullbacks were fantastic that day, weren't they?
Yeah, what they give to this team and have done over the last few seasons is unbelievable, because getting down the wings, they're very, very clever at the times they come into play. They come into play at the right time. Somebody gets their head up in midfield, and then you get Robbo down the left or Trent down the right, making the right runs, crosses in, which have all been great. It's just seemed to have dried up a little bit over these last few months. We're just hoping and praying we can all get back to playing the best football that we know we can play. And like I said earlier, this would be a magnificent game to get everything to start turning your season round again.
It certainly would. Well, let's have a look at Robbo's stats then, because obviously he's going head-to-head on Sunday with another one of the best left-backs in the league in Cancelo. We've got their stats. He has Robbo's created more chances than any other defender in the Premier League, but not so much in recent games.
No, but I think if you look at all Liverpool's stats, they are very much down over the last 6 or 7 games, unfortunately. I think you're just holding out hope that they all come back at the right time and all do the right things. Robbo's crossing when he's on form. I don't think Trent's very far behind him, or can't be that far behind him with chances created. But you need them all on top of the game. You don't see the same. If Mendy plays for City, you'll see the same sort of crosses coming in. But you won't, not that often, see great crosses coming in from Laporte. But what we get and what we've been missing, and it probably says a lot about our performances of lately, is that the two full-backs, and I'm not blaming it on the two full-backs because there's a lot more causes than just them, but the two fullbacks I've not playing as well as they have done over the last, 3 or 4 seasons.
Well, Ronnie, just finally, you've got the tough job now of trying to predict Liverpool's starting 11 for the weekend. We know from Jurgen Klopp's press conference that Sadio Mane and Fabinho are back in training, or they will be back in training today. But talk us through your predicted 11.
Well, I'm glad Alisson's back, although Queevy and Callagher didn't do an awful lot wrong the other night. You've got to stick with Robbo and Trent. Fabinho, if he's fit, I feel it's better with him and Jordan at the back. I would much rather have Jordan Henderson in the centre midfield, but needs must at this moment in time. I would also give Gini a rest if we had players. He was great against Tottenham, great against West Ham. Before that, he had looked leggy to me, and then he looked leggy the other night as well against Brighton. But he's your best, at this moment in time, the best holding midfielder is him. Thiago, I think, is one of the best signings we've made for a while. His passing he has to go in there. I've put Curtis Jones in. He came on, was it against West Ham or Tottenham, and he livened everything up. Millie playing 2 or 3 games on the trot. It's probably a little bit too far for Millie, although his stats are probably great. But I'd give Curtis Jones a start. And you have to go with the front 3. Mane, Salah and Firmino if Mane's fit. Because what they give to this team when they are firing on all cylinders, nobody else in the league gives, or nobody else in Europe for me gives, than them front 3 when they're firing on all cylinders. And we've got to hope that they are going to fire on all cylinders at the weekend against Man City.
So is that a team that's getting back to winning ways at the weekend, Ronnie?
Claire, I do hope so, because I'm getting bored and fed up when I'm watching the Liverpool games. I come away and I don't want to speak to anybody. It's like when I was playing on my own, when I was playing football, I'm getting so annoyed and frustrated with the performances at times that I'm just not nice to be around. And I really, really do hope that they get back to winning ways so I can have a good weekend again.
I don't believe that you're not nice to be around ever, Ronnie.
You don't know me when it comes to football, Claire.
Good stuff. Ronnie, thank you very much. Pleasure to be in your company. That's it from us. Matchday Live kicks off at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. Neil Mellor will be here with the review show at 6:30 on Monday. It's not quite a must-win, but we wouldn't mind seeing a few of these flying in, would we? Bye for now.